court.
There we go.
They got that one.
There you go.
I was put in charge to tell everyone to sit down. So as a retired judge, they told me to use my court voice. And apparently it worked. So I will now turn it over to MC Angela Spears.
Thank you so much, Judge Drake. Good afternoon. How are you? Good afternoon. I am Angela Spears, President of Angela Spears Communication. It is such an honor to be here. What a historic day. Are you guys feeling good about this? Yes. Yes, it is such a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. We are here for the dedication of the jury assembly room. It will be named in honor of Daniel Webster Perkins. And boy, as I was doing my research and learning more about him, I've always heard of the D.W. Perkins Bar Association, right? I've done work with you guys, participated in events, and you kind of learn about him. But as I was reading more and more about him, Mr. Perkins was a man of many, many firsts. Amazing, wasn't he? The first lawyer to practice law in Duval County. He was the first lawyer to be allowed to select white jurors here in Jacksonville. So that was amazing. I was sharing all this information earlier today. I was out with some young ladies with Girls Inc. of Jacksonville, and I was sharing that with them, and I was so proud. And they were like, oh, wow, we need to learn more about him. And so this is definitely the first step, and we need to continue to share his history, his story, and pass it on. And we so appreciate each of you being here this afternoon. Let's get started now with our invocation. We'll have Bishop McKissick Jr. come up. Rudolph Bishop McKissick Jr. I just assume everybody knows your first name.
Nobody knows me. Would you bow your heads with me? God, we beseech your presence and your glory. We thank you for the beauty of this day and for the occasion for which we gather. We thank you for Daniel Webster Perkins, Esquire, for his imprint, for his impact, for the legacy of his name, the legacy of his family, the legacy that he left not only locally but nationally, the doors that he was involved in opening, the trailblazing that he did for African Americans. And we thank you that on a day like this, when we see so much rampant in our nation of divisiveness, of politics, that a moment like this can remind us of who we really are and what we can really become. And so as we dedicate this place with his name, may it not just be a place that holds his name, but may the spirit of his nature resonate within these walls. This is my prayer in the name of the one that I call Savior, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Bishop. Next up, we'll have Dr. Selena Webster Bass come up, and she will sing for us, Lift Every Voice and Sing, and Oh Freedom. She is the founder and CEO of Voices Institute, LLC. And then after that, please remain standing. We'll ask you to stand when she comes up, remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we will have a representative from the Perkins family come up and lead us in the pledge.
Voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that the tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee, shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land, true to our God, true to our native land, true to our God, true to our native land. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. before I'll be a slave. I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, justice. Oh, justice. Oh, justice over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, and before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and go home to my Lord and go home to my Lord and be free.
Good afternoon. I am Paul Perkins, up from Orlando, and I'm a member of the Perkins family. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming this afternoon. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Mark Mahan. I'm the Chief Judge here, which is a pleasure and an honor. I'm selected and elected by my fellow judges. And I want to spend just a minute to talk a little bit about today and about the courthouse. First, with regard to how we are here today from my perspective, Judge Drake, retired now Judge Drake, and Judge Davis, who I guess he's retired because he went on the federal bench. I don't really know what they do, but he approached me and said that the D.W. Perkins Bar had a concept to name the jury assembly room after D.W. Perkins. And after talking with the judges, there was unanimous and very strong support amongst the judges. Then I had to reach out to the partners that both occupy the building and pay the bills, which is Jody Phillips, our clerk, who has this space and does that, and the council, and we have Sam Newby here, of course, and Terrence Freeman here. And there was unanimous support for this concept. And I think it's so appropriate and a great idea, and you can see why if you read the biography in the front of this, why it is an appropriate event, and I'm going to let others talk about that. I do want to talk about something about the building here. This is, of course, the Duval County Courthouse, and we are celebrating this Friday, and there's a number of things that are kind of coming together just by happenstance. This Friday will be 10 years in the building, which is kind of amazing. A lot of people think, well, this is the new courthouse. And it seems relatively new. There were a lot of people, including Judge Mallory Cooper, who was here with the design, that spent a lot of time working on making sure we had a beautiful and functional building. And I think the building reflects what this community places value in, which is justice. And I think it's important to have a courthouse that reflects that. This building, pre-COVID, we screened, that is through the security, we screened almost 1 million people a year, which is stunning. So it's an amazingly functional, amazingly useful building. And we as judges can't be prouder to do our work in this building that was provided, again, with the support of the community. And so 10 years in the building next week, so we don't dilute the efforts of today. I think we're going to get a cake, and we're going to sing happy birthday to the building somewhere, and then blow out the candles and wish it another 10 years or so, however that goes. And it also, again, it's ironic that this is all kind of happening with the celebration of Juneteenth, which will be this coming Monday. The courthouse is going to be closed. Of course, it's a federal holiday and a city holiday. So all of these things kind of came together naturally. And so on behalf of the judges, again, which I have the honor to serve as chief, I just want to welcome everyone to the courthouse for this historic and important event. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to our host, our MC. Yes, ma'am. You don't have to clap.
You can clap for him, right? Next up, we'll have the occasion. We will have Obina Anum. Did I say that correctly? Oh, I said it right. Esquire, the president of the D.W. Perkins Bar Association.
Thank you. Yes, I am the president of the D.W. Perkins Bar Association. I happen to be the president on the occasion of this historic event. However, I would be remiss not to point out that there are many past presidents in this very room, and I want you all to stand to be recognized. The past presidents of the D.W. Perkins Bar Association. Thank you. All of them have mentored me and are absolutely just as, if not more, deserving to stand up here and dedicate this jury assembly room. I'm particularly delighted that this courthouse, in this circuit, this Fourth Judicial Circuit, is the one that will bear the name of my organization's namesake. I practiced all over Florida in my 7 years as an attorney, and there's no other circuit that demonstrates civility, professionalism, and competence like the judiciary and the staff of this judicial circuit, this courthouse, and that goes with Clay and Nassau as well. This circuit, I'm constantly awestruck by how much more advanced this circuit is in these crucial areas, and I don't say that lightly. The physical beauty of this courthouse, in all of its splendor, really matches the gravity of this event. And you see the crown molding, the marble floors. This courthouse is simply physically beautiful. And I believe that in its physical beauty and in its reputation, that the Fourth Judicial Circuit is a standard bearer for all of the circuits across the state. So it's especially appropriate that this room, this jury assembly room here, be named after D.W. Perkins. You heard it mentioned earlier that he was the first black lawyer allowed to pick white jurors. And this is especially important because I just had my first trial in 3 years, my first jury trial As you all know, with COVID, there was a lot of cases that were backed up, a lot of cases that were supposed to go to trial that did not. I happened to take one of my criminal cases to trial, and I was quickly reminded about how important a jury is to the judicial process. And that is symbolized by the fact that when the jury walks in, every single time we stand up. We don't sit down until the jury sits down. So it is very important, very, very important that D.W. Perkins opened that door and erased that color line that was in place. Now, I think that this here is a symbol, and it's the type of symbol that as we look to the next 200 years of Jacksonville as a city, that we erect more symbols like this. This is a symbol of unity. It took the city of Jacksonville, the courthouse, D.W. Perkins Bar Association, former judges, current judges, everyone in unison came together and made this happen. And this is symbolic of that. And so going forward, over the next 200 years, I hope that we can tear down the symbols of contention, of war, of rebellion. And I hope that we can erect more symbols like this that represent unity. Unity among races, among professions, and amongst people of all walks of life across the city of Jacksonville. I was at the Jacksonville Bar Association luncheon earlier today. Justice Alan Lawson gave a speech, and he happened to give an anecdote about unity that I almost wanted to repeat here today, but it was pretty gruesome. Some of you were there today. It involved some oxen and a lion, and you can imagine what happened to the oxen when they weren't in unity, sticking together. So I'm going to just substitute that anecdote with a more simpler one. And I got a visual aid here for you. So, got this pen here, right? It's already kind of bent out of shape, and I'm able to bend it. This is just a regular office pen, right? And some of you probably already know what I'm going to do next. I've got 3 more pens here, right? And you see as they're all unified together? Unity is strength. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Very, very important message there about unity and strength and us all being together. And this is definitely a symbol, and we'll see the unveiling in just a bit, that this is definitely a symbol of that, the renaming of this jury assembly room. Next up, we'll have a resolution from Jacksonville City Council President Samuel Newby. Come on up. And Terrence Freeman, the Vice President, will come up as well, the council. Soon to be President, July 1st.
14 more days. Who's on the countdown? Well, I'd like to say, first of all, this is a historical day. And I remember when Judge Drake asked me what the city council supported. And I first said, whatever Judge Drake wants, I do. So she knew I was going to say it anyway. But we was definitely glad to support this. You know, I stand on the shoulders of Mr. Perkins and also Council Freeman. And I brought him up for a reason, because we all know Jacksonville history. And if you look at myself as the president and Councilman Freeman, the incoming president, that Jacksonville is moving forward. Because I think in the history of Jacksonville, I'm only the 3rd African-American president. And now we have an African-American president back to back, the first time in history. And so that's why I wanted to bring him up here. And I just want to say that I'm so happy to be here. And, you know, we have this resolution on behalf of the Jacksonville City Council honoring Daniel Webster Perkins life achievement and celebration and dedication of the Duval County Courthouse. And this is a great day. And like I say, Jacksonville is moving forward. So I'm going to let the incoming president say a couple of words.
Thank you, Council President, and it is an honor for us to stand here together in unity. And as the gentleman before us spoke about where Jacksonville is going, I can assure you as a council that the leadership that we've had this year and the leadership that's coming forward will continue to move this train down the tracks and making our city a place where not only my kids, but your kids and your grandkids will be proud to call it their home, where they are free to love, where they're free to worship, where they're free to serve and work. So thank you all for this and this tremendous opportunity to dedicate this resolution on behalf of our colleagues in City Council and the Mayor of the City of Jacksonville. God bless you.
The judge wants to read about, Judge, I don't have my glasses on, so Councilman Freeman, can you read just a little bit of it?
Resolution 2022-334, a resolution honoring Daniel Webster Perkins' lifetime of achievements and celebrating the dedication of the Duval County Courthouse Jury Assembly Room to be named in his honor, providing an effective date. Whereas Daniel Webster Perkins was born in 1879 in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, and earned college degrees from North Carolina State, Normal College, and Temple University, and his law degree from Shaw University Law School. And whereas D.W. Perkins, Esquire, was admitted to the Florida Bar in 1914, and 1 year later he argued a landmark case before the Florida Supreme Court to integrate juries. And whereas after practicing law in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Tampa, Florida, D.W. Perkins moved to Jacksonville in 1919, where he practiced law until his death in 1972. And whereas throughout his career, D.W. Perkins held positions of trust in a myriad of professional, educational, civic, and political organizations. He was a staunch proponent of civil rights and community activism, and was a mentor and role model to generations of African American attorneys. And whereas in 1968, a former Colored Lawyers Association changed its name to the Daniel Webster Perkins Bar Association, Inc., in honor of founding member D.W. Perkins, the great legal pioneer and one of the first African Americans to practice law in Duval County. In 2019, D.W. Perkins was inducted into the Florida Civil Rights Hall of Fame. And whereas the Duval County Courthouse houses courtrooms and judges from the Duval County and 4th Judicial Circuit Courts. Construction began on a new facility downtown in 2009 and opened in 2012. And whereas the right to a trial by jury is a principle enshrined in the U.S. Constitution, and jury service is fundamental to our American legal system, and prospective jurors should reflect a cross-section of all members of the local community. And whereas in celebration of the 10th anniversary of Duval County Courthouse, the Jury Assembly Room will be dedicated in honor of D.W. Perkins, the distinguished lawyer, community leader, and prominent civil rights supporter. The dedication ceremony at the Duval County Courthouse will be held Wednesday, June 15, 2022 at 4 p.m. Now thereafter, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Jacksonville. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm a photo bomb now.
Judge Drake is up here, you know, as Councilman Newby said, when Judge Drake calls, you don't say no. When she calls or texts, you just say, yes, ma'am, what do you need me to do? I'll be there. And so she called me and I said, of course, yes, ma'am, anything for you, Judge Drake. So thank you so much for inviting me to be here. And now you're going to give the recognition.
Yes, I am.
For the afternoon.
You can keep that. Good afternoon to Chief Judge Mahan, who was very receptive to having this event. And he told me to tell everyone that I twisted his arm, but of course, he knows that didn't happen. And to the judges, to my fellow colleagues, some of you who I've worked with for years, and some of the newer judges, thank you for being here. To the elected officers courthouse staff, fellow lawyers, relatives, and friends. Thank you so much for participating in this truly historic event. The other day, how many of you have grandchildren? Raise your hand. How many of you have children? Raise your hand. Okay, how many of you are associated with children, nieces, nephews, and cousins in any way? Okay, I think I got everybody. Well, we were having Girls' Day, and so she asked me to help her pick a film to watch on Netflix. So we picked Frozen 2. And I hadn't seen Frozen 2 before, but she had. And so they have some really neat things in Frozen 2. And one of the things that we discussed was a song that was called The Next Right Thing. And in that song, the little girl, Anna, remembers how far she'd come, the heartaches, the loss of her parents, the division that occurred between her kingdom and the people of the forest. And she resolved that whether or not it benefited her or not, that she would do the next right thing. And if I may, I categorize this unveiling in this new courthouse as the next right thing for the city of Jacksonville. It's the next right thing because it represents the collaborative effort and support of so many people. So now I'm going to recognize some of those individuals who helped make this possible. The special recognition goes to the Paget and Paget law firm for sponsoring the plaque. The plaque is not ready today. There had to be some changes. But in this hallway, there will be a plaque that has the picture of D.W. Perkins as well as his contributions. We will also have, there is a sign that we are going to subsequently unveil that I think is absolutely beautiful. The contributors that made this possible, the D.W. Perkins Bar Association, the Jacksonville Bar Association, the following contributors who sponsored our reception: Dexter Davis Esquire with the Davis Law Group, Craig Gibbs Esquire, the law offices of Craig Gibbs, Gene Nichols Esquire with the Office of Nichols and Pina LLP, Latoya Williams Shelton Esquire with the Latoya Williams Shelton PA firm, and Tammy Hodu, PhD. I'd also like to thank some very special people. The Honorable Brian J. Davis, who is my cheerleader in the background, and we bounce things off each other to make this possible. Obini Anna, we call him Obi, the president, current president of the D.W. Perkins Bar Association. And how could I forget the 5-year-old child who would come to my chambers, Craig Shoup, who is now, he remembers that, he smiles, you see him blushing, the executive director of the Jacksonville Bar Association, for his contribution in bringing us together. And my good friend Lester Davis, who always sends me notes, making sure that I keep moving forward and encouraging me. Special thanks again to Chief Judge Mark Mahan and the judges, all of the D.W. Perkins Bar Association members. Mike Smith and Eve Janeko, who sent me emails, who helped make this possible. Last but not least, Miss Camilla Thompson, who is no longer with us, but was a great friend of mine, who reminded me that preserving history and going forward is what makes us all stronger. Her son, Reginald Thompson, approached some of us with the idea. We wanted to do this for her 100th birthday celebration, but unfortunately she died earlier in January of this year, which goes to show you that the next right thing continues to live on after us in this legacy. Also, I want to recognize some individuals that D.W. Perkins was involved with and help them in their right to use the Shriner's name. So if the Ravia Temple number 8, Prince Hall affiliate, please stand. They represent the Masons, to which Daniel Webster Perkins belonged. And we also have the Order of Eastern Star, Chapter 29. They bear the name of D.W. Perkins. Please stand. I told them that in Alabama, my mother was an Eastern Star, and she was a secretary, and so I know them to be a powerful group of women. Miss Camilla Thompson was a member of the sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha, and a few of them are here. Would you please stand also? And last but not least, the fraternity representatives of Omega Phi Psi. I hope that I haven't forgotten anyone. I tried to list everyone, and thank you so much. Paul Perkins is very humble. He actually is an attorney. And it just shows you the effect of generational motivation. And that's a great thing. It's a great thing to see that we empower our young people to be greater, to be better. So my challenge to you today is, what's your next right thing? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judge Drake. That was powerful. It's getting on up. Come on up, Judge Davis. Brian Davis is going to do the swearing in. After that, we'll have a plaque unveiling from Perkins family representative. So I will, where did you go? There you are. Do your thing, sir.
Thank you so much.
I too do what Judge Drake asked. Just so you all will know, one of the things she didn't ask me, two things she didn't ask me to do. I don't know if it was made clear that Ms. Camilla Thompson was the granddaughter of D.W. Perkins. So that is significant for all of us to know and to celebrate. I'm sorry? Daughter of. That's right, she was 100 years old when she passed. I forgot. The other thing that she didn't ask me to do, and I would be remiss if I didn't, I want to take this opportunity to amplify the appreciation that should be extended to retired Chief Judge Mark Mahan. I'm sorry, Mark, I'm sorry. Soon to be retired. I'm sorry, pretending to be retired. You know, we federal judges know how to joke too. If you were to turn to the webpage of the D.W. Perkins Bar Association, this is what you would find. The African American experience has historically been fraught with exclusion and denial of meaningful participation in the positive aspects of American life. Unfortunately, the vestiges of racial discrimination have continued to manifest themselves in many of the institutions which affect the lives of the entire citizenry. The Daniel Webster Perkins Bar Association, Inc. was named after the great pioneer D.W. Perkins, who was one of the first African Americans to practice law in Duval County. Its mission, that is the Bar Association's mission and purpose, continues to be that of a change agent to improve the plight of the African American community and to combat the effects of racial and social injustice. To Judge Mahan's credit, when this idea was presented to him initially, his response was an unequivocal yes, rooted, I believe, in his commitment to equal justice under law, which I wanted to take a moment to recognize. Now, it would be appropriate for us at this time to recognize the past leadership of this organization. We are here because of their work. I'd like for Obi Annam to stand, Jaquila Rivers, the retired Judge Pauline Drake, Noel Lawrence, Kimberly Woods, and Christine Michael. These are the 2021 officers of the D.W. Perkins Association whose work brought us here today. Thank you. Thank you. And now if I can have to line up right in front of this podium, Jaquila Rivers as the soon-to-be president, Vivian, come forward, please. Vivian Williams, Esquire, as the soon-to-be secretary. Noel Lawrence, Attorney Noel Lawrence, as the soon-to-be treasurer. Kimberly Woods, as the soon-to-be administrative officer. And Obina Annam, as the soon-to-be immediate past president. And if you each would please raise your right hands and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and adhere to the Constitution and bylaws of the D.W. Perkins Bar Association, that I will be faithful to its mission, and that I will diligently execute the office of the association I hereby enter. So help me God. Ladies and gentlemen, the new officers of the D.W. Perkins Bar Association. Thank you. We are looking forward to the next best thing you all are responsible for. Thank you.
Okay. May we have a Perkins family representative come up? Paul, you gonna do it? Sure. Okay. And you didn't tell us your relation, so we all know.
Oh, okay.
So I am,
You gotta think about it, huh?
so Daniel Webster Perkins was my father's uncle. My father's from Elizabeth City, North Carolina, came down to practice law with his Uncle Dan for about a year till he threw him out. And then he went down to Orlando. So that's my relationship with family.
So Judge Drake, what do you want to do, the unveiling here?
So what they're going to do, they're going to unveil the sign. It's going to appear here on your screen. And once there is a reception immediately following, and you'll have an opportunity to view the sign. As I said before, the plaque, it will be historic. You really cannot see it. Craig and I did our best to Do we need to close the door so it'll come down better, or it's right now? It's okay. Okay. Drum roll, please.
That is beautiful, isn't it? That is absolutely beautiful. Definitely a proud moment, especially to all of you who work so hard to make this happen, to ensure that it happens. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause for making this happen. We appreciate you for doing this. Chief Justice Mahan, thank you for saying yes overwhelmingly. I know when Judge Drake comes to you, did you always just say yes too? Like all of us? Yeah, we all just say, okay, yes ma'am. She's making her blush over there. She's like, go on. And now, can we have, is Reginald Thompson here? No? Was he able to make it?
Oh, he made it.
Oh, okay. So you're Miss Thompson's son.
This is the grandson.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Hello, everyone. As they say, I'm Reginald Thompson, the grandson of Daniel Webster Perkins. I get my middle name from him, Reginald Daniel. First off, I'm also the son of Camilla Thompson. First off, I'd like to tell you the history of how this came about. We went to Tallahassee, 2019 for the Civil Rights program where he was inducted into the Florida State Civil Rights. And this came up several times about he was responsible for having minorities serve on juries. He went before the Florida Supreme Court and sued the state of Florida, so minorities could serve on juries. So I was wondering what it must have been like for a Black attorney during that time, between 1900 and 1920. For you to have a son to go before a jury that's all white men and not having a snowball chance in hell, as they like to say, a win in the case. And for my grandfather to have come along during that era, I can picture him going into a courtroom and none of the jurors looked like his client. So he had to take a stand. He had to go before the Florida Supreme Court. I can see him right now taking the Constitution in there and saying, Justice, Constitution say a jury of your peers. Now what does that mean? Someone who looks like you, someone who comes from your same background. He brought all that out and he unanimously voted in his favor, just like he did in Washington, D.C. with the Shriners when he took the credit from him. And I can imagine him walking out on. I had to go to D.C. to see this U.S. Supreme Court, and this old Shriner told me the night before they had a banquet in D.C. And some of the Shriners doubted his ability. I heard he was a perfect orator. So he told them after the banquet, I tell you what, you can't wear your hat, Sir Greta, but bring it down there tomorrow about noon. Don't wear it, bring it. So when he walked out, emerged from the U.S. Supreme Court building, he hollered up with a bullhorn, brothers, put your hats back on. And also, he went back to Florida State and won another one because they stripped Black lawyers of practicing law in the state of Florida. Anyway, moving along, I'd like to, first of all, idea came to me when we left Tallahassee. No, let me back that up. When I got back to Jacksonville, 2 days later, I got a letter in the mail for jury duty. And I told my mother's pastor that was divinely done. I ain't got a letter like that in 25 years. I say, everybody, I don't want to serve on a jury. I'm gonna try to find an excuse not to serve on a jury. But it's because of the Lord that I came in the jury room that day. And when I walked through those doors, I saw every nationality of people who live in Duval County. Every nationality, Asians, Hispanic, minorities, women. Women couldn't even serve on juries when he won this case in Florida. So I waited till lunchtime, and it hadn't dawned on me yet. I walked out the door. I looked up. I saw Duval County Jury Assembly Room. I said, that name has to be changed. Has to be changed. So I said, it was because of him, my grandfather, winning that case back, I don't know what year, between 1900 and 1910. But anyway, I came back in the room and I said, I saw these different national people, and it finally dawned on me, this name has to be changed. It needs to be honored my grandfather. So, of course, I didn't be selected for jury. I was going to be in Judge Lester Bass' courtroom that day. Yeah. And matter of fact, me and him didn't know each other until he wore his Fairmount belt at the church fund day. And those of you who don't know what Fairmount is, that's a Boy Scout ranch in somewhere around New Mexico. And I had a belt just like his. I said, you went to Fairmount. Anyways, that's another story too. Then when I got back home, I immediately got on the phone and called Judge Drake, Judge Brian Davis, who was a Boy Scout with me at the African minority camp, Camp Kokuchi, the segregated camp, Camp Kokuchi. And I like to say a word about that too, because I had to go 3,000 miles to Cimarron to find out the importance of Camp Kokuchi. When we got out there, those scouts attacked us from around the country because they all wanted Camp Kokuchi paraphernalia. But Camp Kokuchi was the first, only Black Boy Scout camp in the South. And I told my badges, anything I had Camp Kokuchi on, just to sell it. Okay, moving along again. All right. I knew I had put the right crew together when I got Judge Drake, Judge Bass, and Judge Brian Davis, and they brought everybody else on board. And I'd like to thank them for doing such a wonderful job. You thought OJ had a dream team? No, not like this one. This was the best dream team anybody could ever have. Y'all did the job of bringing it to fruition. And I'd like to thank you. I'm so proud of this day. Because, I wish my mother could be here to see it. As I said, she died in January. I wanted to be Black History Month this year. She died about a month before Black History Month, and it wasn't quite ready yet. But I like to call her names and remembrance of our family who didn't make it this day either. My mother died in January. My aunt, Janet, who was D.W.'s youngest daughter, died in March. And cousin Cecilia, my brother Michael, my cousin Reverend Lemuel Williams, and those are all the direct descendants on our part. I know they're smiling from heaven on this day. And again, I'd like to thank those who were involved. Thank you very much.
Wow, what history. This is why history has to be preserved, doesn't it? And it's important, you know, when he said he came in here with the jurors and seeing everyone, it's important that we all serve and we take that seriously, right? It's our civic duty. We're all registered to vote. If you don't know someone who's registered to vote, please encourage them to vote and register. And then most importantly, get out and vote. Don't just register, but go vote so that when you get that summons and you're called in to do your duty, to serve as a juror, we all must do that, right? And that's so important to serve that and make that your civic duty to do so. So thank you all for making this day happen. Judge Drake, thank you for assembling your team, getting everyone together. Thank you, Judge Mahan, Judge Davis. Thank you for all of your work. Judge Bass, we appreciate you. DW Perkins Bar Association, thank you. And definitely to the Shriners back there, thank you. You were able to keep your name there, so that's good. Thank you. I'm going to have now come up for the benediction. Bishop Rudolph McKissick Sr. When he finishes with the benediction, again, look at you got an applause. You got a crowd. You have fans over here. I'm a fan too. You know, I already got my hug. So when he finishes, there will be a reception in the room right here behind us. So you can go in there, grab a few snacks, and mingle and talk and take a look further at the sign of the naming. And then we'll see the plaque a little bit later. Bishop, I turn it over to you.
I would be remiss if I did not make this statement that I'm going to make, because I feel that it's unique in its own measure. 80 years ago is when I can think about Colonel D.W. Perkins. I was 14 years old, and my parents were teaching me how to become an entrepreneur 80 years ago by parching peanuts and allowing me to go and sell them, 5 cents a bag. And my route was the Masonic Temple, where the distinguished attorney Perkins had his office, and he was one of my customers. I serve a God. Amen. 80 years ago, and in 2022, I stand at 94 to give the benediction. And you think I wouldn't say a word about that? And one more thing. I was his pastor. Come on, Bethel. Come on, Bethel. Stand on your feet. You hear Bethel. What a day of rejoicing this is. So, the Lord bless you. Keep you. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you and give you peace. Let the light of his countenance be upon you. I pray that prayer because I know he's still the same God that was with him then. He's with now. And he's helping us to do the right thing next. Amen. Amen.